Hello, I'm Dustin Abarca, and this is my final project for network security. You can see here that we have our Metasploit screen up, our Windows XP virtual machine, and in the background we have our Nessus client. I'll be showing you today how to defend against some basic attacks from Metasploit, which is commonly available to anybody with internet connection. The first step is to locate all available and reachable hosts on the network. To do this we use Nmap, which is built into Metasploit. And what's displaying now is a list of all the ports on a target machine that we have found through Nmap. At the end of this list it will show the number of hosts that are live on the network and their IP addresses. From this we will pick our target. As you can see, we have 3 hosts up, and we're going to use the host at 1.198.0.109 for our target. Here's the Nessus screen. First step is to start a new scan. We'll call this one final, and use a pre-configured policy that I set up previous to this for the scan. We simply enter our scan target's IP address in the box and click the Launch Scan button. Once this completes, we'll have a list of vulnerabilities on the target machine, and from that we can search Metasploit for an exploit to exploit that machine. And as you can see, we have 2 high-level critical vulnerabilities. First one was discovered in 2009, and the second one, which is the one that we will be using, was first discovered in 2008. This vulnerability will allow an attacker to execute a buffer overflow on the server and execute any kind of code that he would want with system privileges. Very, very bad. Again, you can see that they had a link on there that is an update that would fix this. Very simple. Right now we're going to search for the exact name. As you can see, the plugin is called MS08-067. The 08 stands for 2008. That's the official way that they log these. And we have a result. It is an exploit, as you can see, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to use that exploit. Simply type use exploit and then the path for the exploit. As you can see, they give a little ranking system next to it, and this one is ranked as great. And as you noticed, our prompt has changed to reflect that we are inside of the exploit now. Now we're going to see what variables we need to set for this to run properly. The only one that is not set and is required is the remote host, so we're going to set that to our target machine's IP address. Once that's set, we have to load a payload, because an exploit by itself isn't going to do anything to the machine. Once we have a payload loaded with the exploit will exploit the machine and deliver our payload. In this case, we're going to be using a Meterpreter payload. Meterpreter is essentially an advanced command shell. Whole lot of different things you can do with that. It's very flexible, based off of the Linux terminal. As you can see, there's a bunch of different payloads, and right here are the Meterpreter ones. You can also put a VNC session, you can inject a VNC session into the remote system and just take full control of their screen, of their desktop, of everything. But we're going to use the Meterpreter shell. Specifically, the reverse TCP reverse TCP on all ports. Now we want to check to make sure that there are no variables that need to be set for this before we run it, so we'll do a show option. There are ones, so we set local port to 3333 and localhost to 1.198.0.2. That way, after it takes effect, it'll send us a message back and we'll connect through that. And as you can see, the exploit has started and we have a session opened. So that was successful. In a few seconds we'll have our interpreter prompt, which is right here, and I'll give you guys a listing of all of the contents of our current directory. And we are in the system. Let's see, I'm going to see what directory we're in here. We are in, we are logged in as the system, and our current directory is in system32. Right now I want to see what kind of processes are running so I can migrate our interpreter into one of them in case the user gets nosy and decides to try to shut it down. We have Explorer up and we have WinLogin up. I'm going to use WinLogin just so I can log the keystrokes when people try to log in on this system. So let's migrate over to that right now. It is process number 640. And when you migrate to a different process, you'll be able to interact with everything that process interacts with. So obviously if you run a keylogger on the WinLogin process, it'll log all of the keys entered at login, which is definitely bad if you're not the attacker. Just as with Explorer, you could take anything they entered in Explorer. Also very bad. So right here we're going to be starting the key scan, which is our keylogger. It's starting to start the keystroke sniffer. We're going to log out and we're going to log back in. And now we're going to do a keyscan-dump to dump the results of our key scan. And as you can see, a password was entered and they hit the return key. So there you have it. Welcome to part 2 of defending against Metasploit-based attacks. As you can see, I'm implementing one of the easiest and effective solutions, updating the system. Currently we have 85 updates that need to be installed on our victim's XP machine. After that though, the vast majority of the exploits used by Metasploit will be ineffective against it, other than the social engineering or any backdoors that have already been put in place on the host machine. Alright, so all of our updates have completed. Back at the Nessus screen, I'm going to be doing another vulnerability scan of the target machine. All I've done is install the updates, and we'll see how it fares in the scan. Alright, so the scan's completed, and we have no high or even medium vulnerabilities left, and all we've done is just update our system. So right off the bat, we get rid of the 2 vulnerabilities that we could have used in the beginning of this. But just to be on the safe side, I'm going to attempt the exact same exploit that we did in the first half of this presentation. Alright, so it's detected our machine, and now it is attempting to trigger the vulnerability. The exploit was completed, but no session was created. That means that the exploit went through all of its steps, and it was not able to latch onto the target machine. All we've done is update the system. It's that simple. That'll get you out of a lot of trouble, keep your networks as safe as they can be from internal attacks like this.